You're listening to The Good Pod Guide, where I, journalist and podcast fangirl Lauren Windle, bring you the lowdown on the pods you should be listening to. I've got a theory that the way to work out if a review or a reviewer is worth engaging with is to look up a review that they've done of something you already have an opinion on. So, for example, restaurant reviews. I will always look up a review of a restaurant I've been to and know what I think about. And if they make really valid points and they highlight things that I also felt, then I'm confident that going forwards, if I read a review of a restaurant I haven't been to, that I'm more likely to share their opinion. Surely that's just common sense, right? So with that in mind, when I decided to review Overdue, which is a book podcast where they review all these different books that you should have already read, I decided I was going to scroll through the episode list and pick out a book that I was already familiar with to see how much our opinions related. I like to think of myself as a pretty big reader, read quite a lot of books. I power through about 2 books a week, so no problem for me. I had to scroll back through their back catalogue to 2019 before I found one I'd actually read. A lot of them I hadn't even heard of. Some were on my sort of ever-growing list of books that I want to read, aka the list of shame and guilt. But it wasn't until 2019 when they had reviewed Jack Kerouac's On the Road that I finally had an opportunity to be part of the conversation. The format of the show is that one of the hosts reads the book and tells the other all about it, while the other doesn't read it, but asks loads of questions to help themselves and the listener to kind of better understand what the book's about and the themes and blah, blah, blah. So they kind of take the place of the audience in this. They do some pretty cool things. For example, the 50th, 100th and 150th episodes, they read the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. And I'm pretty sure I already told you guys when we reviewed My Dad Wrote Porno that I was not a massive fan of those. I got to about page 60 of the first book and gave up. That is obviously quite an amusing topic for your sort of big number episodes. So I thought that was quite jokes. You will have read at least a few of the books that they've covered, even if, like me, you'll have to scroll for a while. They did do Of Mice and Men. So if you can throw your mind back to your English GCSE, then I'm pretty sure you can get involved in that one quite easily. They also did an episode on Barack Obama's highly praised autobiography, which is obviously massively popular, sold really well, even if it is 700 pages and costs just shy of $50 to buy. It's presented by Andrew Cunningham and Craig Getting, who is the educational director at a theatre company. Each episode is about an hour long. As they say that these are books that you should have already read by now, they do include spoilers, but actually they're up to like 500 odd episodes and they're reviewing modern books. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if you hadn't read them yet. Some of them are like only a few months old. The podcast is really funny. These guys are good company. It's like a silly pun-filled book club, but with less wine and more actual reading of the book. I would say I didn't particularly enjoy delving into the episodes on books that I hadn't read yet, because I guess once I've read it, I'm far more invested in the discussion and conversation around it. And also there are spoilers, so you wouldn't necessarily want to ruin a book for yourself that you haven't read yet. But for a book that you've read, it's great because they do research on the author, they set it into context, and they delve into themes that you may not have picked up on. So I reckon you should give it a go. In the next episode, I confess my love for all things Scandi as we check out Death in Ice Valley. More info is available in the show notes, and if you've enjoyed what you've heard, like, subscribe, and leave a positive review. We really appreciate it.